Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is January 16th, 2024, and Pep Guardiola has defended Xavi Hernandez. Also, the Barcelona coach has had an important meeting with the locker room to discuss what's going on with the team. And finally, Mbappe's votes in the FIFA's Best Awards has got people talking about the possibility of him signing for Barcelona. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and before we begin with the news, just a quick reminder to make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment. All of this helps this channel continue to grow. Also, I made a video earlier, or uploaded a video earlier, where I talked about some pretty interesting news, including a vote of no confidence that's being contemplated against Joan Laporta. So if you haven't watched that video, make sure you check it out. And having said that, let's dive right into the news, because Manchester City's coach and the Barcelona legend Pep Guardiola defended Xavi Hernandez today when he said, "My advice, it's a final. We've lost, but next week there's another game, another competition. Give support to the people, and at the end of the year, they will decide what they have to decide. For my part, I want to give my unconditional support to Xavi and the players who have to take a step forward. They have already shown that they have level, that they have quality, and this is very long." So Pep Guardiola, again, supporting Xavi and saying that the players need to step up, and people have already taken this out of context with a lot of Xavi apologists saying that, look, Pep Guardiola is completely backing Xavi and blaming the players, so he's the best coach in the world, so he must be right, and it's not Xavi's fault, and it's instead the entire fault of the players. Now, this is what I have to say about this, and I have two things to say. First of all, yes, I do agree with Pep Guardiola, because the Barcelona players do need to step it up. Now, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Xavi is responsible for what's going on with the team, for failing to implement an identity, for failing to implement a style of playing, for failing to implement things like basic mechanisms. So Xavi is at fault here. But the players are also at fault, because they have been playing without any kind of intensity. They have been making some very silly mistakes, and they've been doing things that every professional football player should not be doing. For example, missing clear shots, not making correct passes. And these are things that Xavi Hernandez is not responsible for, because when Robert Lewandowski or Ilkay Gundogan miss a shot on open target, that's not Xavi's fault. When the midfielders are losing ball by making silly passes, that's not Xavi's fault. And when players like Rafinha or Ferran attempt to dribble defenders and they lose the ball because they don't know how to dribble, again, that's not Xavi's fault. So yes, Xavi's at fault, but so are the players. I'm starting to see a lot of people either fully blaming Xavi or fully blaming the players. It's neither here or there. I think both are equally, or maybe not equally, but both are at fault here for sure. So I do agree with Pep Guardiola that yes, the players do have to step it up. But what I don't agree with, and I'm not disagreeing with Pep Guardiola, what I'm disagreeing with is with the Xavi apologists, who are somehow now arguing that since Pep Guardiola is the best coach in the world and what he says it's truth, that means that yes, all the fault lies with Barcelona players. And I don't think that's what he meant. And what I do want to say about this is that Pep Guardiola would never talk bad about Xavi Hernandez. He is a Barcelona legend. He was Xavi Hernandez's coach. They both are good friends. They both played or shared the same team together. So Pep Guardiola would never say anything bad about Xavi Hernandez. Of course, he's going to support Xavi Hernandez and give him his full support. This does not mean that behind closed doors, Pep Guardiola might think that Xavi needs to do things better, because in fact, Pep Guardiola has supported previous Barcelona coaches like Ronald Koeman, or even Valverde. When things were going bad, he said the same thing, that he fully supported those coaches and that he believed those were the right coaches for Barcelona. So do not take this as an excuse or as an advantage to say that somehow because Pep Guardiola is supporting Xavi, that means only the players are at fault, because again, both Xavi and the players are. And plus, just look at his words. He says clearly, and I'll make this bigger for you so you can read it again, but he clearly says For my part, I want to give my unconditional support. So right there, Pep Guardiola is telling you that Xavi is his friend, so he's not going to trash talk him on the mic because he's giving him his unconditional support. And that's something that we should not do in football. We should not just give our unconditional supports to coaches and players. We should give support as long as there are results. If a player is doing great, we should give support. We should encourage them. We should say, yes, great job. But when they're doing bad, we should also call them out on doing bad. You cannot always support players no matter what they do, good or bad. And you can't also hate on players, they do, whether they do good or bad. You have to go with what the circumstances are. If their coaches or players are doing good, great. If not, you need to call them out. So again, this is not an excuse to justify what Xavi Hernandez is doing because he is at fault, just like the players are. Now, speaking of the players, it is reported that today Xavi Hernandez met with the entire squad in order to discuss what's going on with the team. Now, it's reported that both sides discussed what they thought was going wrong and how to move forward. The players took responsibility for their individual mistakes. They took responsibility for their lack of intensity in the matches. However, they said that they're gonna work on fixing those mistakes, but they also need the technical staff and the coaches to intervene and help them with that, because after all, it is the coach's job to give the players the right scheme so they can flourish in it. Because if the coaches are not giving you any kind of strategy or any style of play that you can flourish in, then how can you improve? Or how can you do things right? Because you don't know exactly what you're supposed to be doing to begin with. So I do agree with the players here, and I'm glad they took responsibilities for their individual mistakes and that they are asking the coaching staff to help them out more. And it's reported also that Xavi Hernandez and the coaching staff accepted their faults, accepted their mistakes, and promised to do better by the players. So again, very glad that both sides admitting their responsibility, both sides agreeing to help each other out, and both sides admitting to move forward. Now, it's reported from reporters who are very close to the locker room that the mood is actually a positive one in the locker room, that everybody feels that they can revert the situation, that everybody is willing to work hard to revert the situation. So it's not unlike some of the media outlets out there saying that the locker room is now fractured, that the players don't trust Xavi anymore. None of that is true. The locker room meeting that was held today was a very positive one, and everybody's on the same page where everybody's hoping to revert the situation. Now, speaking of the locker room, I do have good news because it's reported, or it's been confirmed, that Ter Stegen is closer and closer to full recovery. Of course, Ter Stegen suffered that back injury during the international break while he was on training with Germany. He underwent treatment. It didn't help, so he ended up undergoing surgery in France. He was supposed to be out much longer than initially anticipated, but he's been recovering much, much faster. And they're talking about him joining the first team trainings by the end of this month, and that he could be back in full competitive rhythm by the beginning of February, which means that Ter Stegen will be available for the Champions League clash against Napoli, which of course is great news, because even though I think Iñaki Peña has been doing a decent job, of course, Ter Stegen is the best in the world. And if you can have the best in the world guarding your goal, then why not? Now, the last bit of news is about Kylian Mbappe, because his votes in the FIFA's best has started, or has prompted people to start talking about his possibility of joining Barcelona. Now, Lionel Messi won a FIFA's Best Player award, and Pep Guardiola won FIFA's Best Coach. And it was revealed, as they always do, they revealed the players' votings. It looked like Mbappe voted for Messi to be the best, to be considered the best player. He also voted for Pep Guardiola as best coach. And in the third place, because you get to vote for top three, he also voted for Xavi Hernandez. So Mbappe, of course, voting for all three Barcelona legends, Messi, Guardiola, and Xavi. And this has gotten people talking about that maybe Mbappe is, giving Barcelona a wink, that he's going to be joining the club in the summer. I said it yesterday in the live stream. I'll say it again. This is absolutely a pipe dream. There's no way that Barcelona could afford Kylian Mbappe. Yes, he will be a free agent technically this summer, but nothing is free in football, especially when it comes to stars. So even though he will be a free agent, all that means that we're not going to pay PSG anything if we try to sign him. But there's talks that Mbappe wants 126 million euro signing bonus, which of course Barcelona, there's no way they can afford that. And there's talks about Mbappe wanting a 52 million euro salary gross, which, again, Barcelona cannot afford that. And even if they could, those days are long gone, where John Laporta has implemented a new pay structure where no one can earn more than 10, 12 million euros net. So Barcelona cannot afford his salary. Even if they could, they wouldn't pay it. And they definitely cannot afford his signing bonus. Anyways, that is all the news for today. Thank you for watching. I will see you tomorrow. And as always, peace, Carsa.